Lord, please don't let me die like this.
Emotions run high as a woman stuck on the floor watches her apartment fill with smoke. Who came to save her before firefighters even arrived? Coming up. Plus, 911 system in trouble, the areas in Bernalillo County where it doesn't always work, and what the city and county say they have to do to fix it. Breaking overnight, a man shot and killed in Albuquerque. What witnesses say about where it happened? We'll have more on the developing situation still to come. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to KRQE News 13 this morning. Nice to have you with us here in the 6 a.m. hour. I'm Adam Atchison.
Good morning. I'm Kristen Curry, and today is Thursday, June 30th.
End of the month already.
We made
Starting
it.
July tomorrow. So we're facing some showers this morning. I saw some lightning on my way into work here about an hour, and well, I guess several hours ago now.
Yeah,
Morning
a little
keeps
bit
going
here
by.
and there. It's still out there.
Still out there?
Yes,
okay.
It's still out there, especially for those of you on the west side of Albuquerque. You're seeing a lot more cloud cover and a few pockets of light rain. Gorgeous start to our day, though. You see the cloud cover out there, sunrise starting to take place, and when it comes to the currents this morning, not bad either. 71 degrees right now. Those winds are light out of the northwest, about 3 miles per hour. Humidity up to 51%. Now, when it comes to those rain chances, we have a little bit here and there this morning. Much better this afternoon, so don't put away the umbrella just yet. Albuquerque looking at more of the rain just to the west on the other side of the interstate, and the general direction here is to the north-northwest, but still picking up a little bit of that lightning activity you see just to the west of Albuquerque along the Interstate 40. So that's something we're going to be watching this morning and tracking for you. Much better storm chances arrive this afternoon and continue into tomorrow. So the storms will favor pretty much the northern and western portions of our state today, spread a little bit further into the state tomorrow. Our temperatures, although quick, will cool off significantly tomorrow afternoon, down 5 to 10 degrees. But what will our 4th of July weekend hold? I'll have that answer plus your full forecast coming up here in just about 15 minutes.
All right, Kristen, we'll see you then. Thank you. We're staying on top of news developing overnight as police continue to investigate a deadly shooting in northeast Albuquerque. We're going to turn to News 13's Catherine Mazzone, who's live near Central and Espanola with the very latest. Catherine?
That's right, Adam. I'm here at the corner of Espanola and Domingo right now, not far from Central. You can see behind me this house, neighbors say it's boarded up, it's abandoned, but it's also the area where police focused much of their investigation last night in a deadly shooting. Now check out this video we gathered overnight. We first received word from police at around 9:45. Officers told us there was an investigation here. A man might have been shot in the leg. 15 minutes later, they said that that man was dead from a gunshot wound. Again, neighbors we spoke to last night say oftentimes they will see people gathered behind this abandoned building, as well as the 2 adjoining lots next to it. Now, they say that they suspect that there has been some drug activity in those areas as well, and they have voiced their concerns for more lighting in the area. Back to you.
All right, Catherine, thanks so much. We are going to continue to follow the story on air and on the KRQE News app all day today. So as soon as new information comes into our newsroom, you'll hear it right here. We'll move on to this. As you wake up today, police are still searching for the driver involved in a deadly hit and run. APD says somebody hit a pedestrian on Central and Tramway Tuesday night and then took off. Police later found the Chevy Suburban, but the driver was gone. APD has not released any details about the suspect or the person killed in that incident. Happening next month, the former Espanola Valley High School basketball coach is expected to give his side of the story before school officials. This as documents offer a new look into why he was fired. Richard Martinez is now under investigation. It all unfolded weeks after Martinez took state for the second time, coming under fire for praying with his team. Weeks later, he was fired. A PED investigation found a long list of concerns. A termination letter from the former superintendent, who resigned right after firing Martinez, listed a pattern of misconduct, calling the coach abusive to students. He's also accused of being the reason why more than $1,000 went missing from a basketball fundraiser. Martinez's attorney says the former coach is the victim here.
And you don't think he's mistreated children in any way?
No, he hasn't mistreated anybody.
Interviews do back that up, with parents and players saying they'd never seen Martinez bully, push, or threaten anyone. Martinez is scheduled to speak with school officials at a hearing coming up in July. Happening next week, a community will say goodbye to the Australian shepherd that became the mascot of Elephant Butte. He died last week. We first told you about Blue Dog back in 2012 when he was at the center of an animal control controversy. He quickly became an internet sensation. His caretakers even started Blue Fund, which has helped shelters, rescues, and animal clinics. The town scheduled a memorial for him this July 4th. Here are the facts on that memorial. It's scheduled to be held at 7:30 at Church of the Butte parking lot. Everyone is asked to wear blue. We're going to have a link to that information right now on our website, on the KRQE News app as well. Happening now, former UFC champ John Bones Jones has more time to complete his community service. It's part of his probation for crashing into a car and injuring a pregnant woman in Albuquerque last year, then taking off. Jones was sentenced to 120 hours of community service that was supposed to be completed by July 1st. That includes making appearances in front of kids and inmates, explaining his mistake. So far, he's finished only half of that community service. Jones did ask a judge last week for an extension to August 15th, which has been granted. Jones has been training for his upcoming fight against current champ Daniel Cormier on July 9th. 6:05 now, in video that has a lot of viewers talking this morning shows an armed robber threatening an employee at the world-famous doghouse on Route 66.
That was the first thing that came through my mind, is just give him what he wants, don't try to act hero.
This had to be terrifying. It happened Sunday night at the Doghouse Drive-In on Central near 14th Street. Security footage shows the suspect storm in. A clerk then opens the register. He starts taking cash. Employees say the suspect took off on a bike that was found in a yard a few blocks away. Police say they still are working to find him today. City officials are looking ahead this morning as the Metro's 911 system remains non-functional in some parts of Bernalillo County. That issue could have posed a deadly problem during the Doghead fire, and that's not the only issue. The system, shared by Albuquerque and the county, is no longer supported by its manufacturer, meaning making repairs is more and more difficult.
We've had to, fly in parts from Timbuktu to make sure that our system stays engaged and intact.
And the city says getting a new radio communication system will cost $20 to $30 million. And that means they'll likely need help from the feds. Happening right now, Donald Trump is preparing to make a campaign stop in New Hampshire to deliver a major policy speech on trade today. Speaking from Canada yesterday, President Obama blasted the presumptive Republican nominee for threatening to tear up trade deals, calling the plan the wrong medicine. The president's expected to make his first appearance with presumptive Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton in North Carolina next week. Also, a race is officially underway in the UK today over who will replace Prime Minister David Cameron. Former London Mayor Boris Johnson is among those vying for that position after successfully leading a campaign that led to the country voting to exit from the EU. Cameron announced his resignation last week after British voters decided to leave the 28-nation bloc. Video of an arrest in New Orleans is going viral this morning, prompting more debates over excessive force by officers. Take a look at this. Louisiana State Police say this trooper had just gotten off his shift when he was called in to help with some unruly bargoers who refused to leave. Police say that's when the officer chose to make an arrest. State police say the officers reacted reasonably in this situation. The man was issued a municipal summons for public intoxication, criminal trespass, disturbing the peace, and resisting arrest. His brother, who was also seen in the video, has not been charged. Some more new video this morning shows a Georgia police officer coming to the rescue of an older woman. Happened last week in an apartment complex. 77-year-old Judith Augustine says she had fallen as she was making herself some food and couldn't get up. And she says that as the apartment filled with smoke, she started to feel the toll it was taking on her lungs. And that's when Officer Matt Jones banged down her door. He broke down the door. He went into action before even any fire personnel arrived.
I got down as low as I could where the air was the most breathable, I guess you could say. I crawled in and I found her about 10 to 15 foot inside the residence.
And Jones was able to get Judith out before the smoke got any worse. She's doing fine this morning. So is her apartment. She says she's just thankful that Jones was there to help, and they're both all smiles this morning.
Start accepting the consequences of my past actions.
A burglary ends in a heart-to-heart instead of handcuffs. How the victim is helping the thief who stole from her now, just ahead. Then, after weeks of water woes, people living in one part of the state are hoping for some answers from officials today. How long they've had to boil their water. And a shocking admission, what authorities say an accused cop killer revealed about the night he allegedly gunned down an Albuquerque police officer and how the U.S. attorney wants to use it in court. Good morning, 6:30 here on KRQE News 13 this morning. We're glad you're waking up with us. I'm Adam Atchison.
Good morning, I'm Kristen Curry, and today is Thursday, June 30th.
Well, lots going on this morning in the weather, and we have a lot to talk about before the holiday weekend, too.
Oh, yes. We have a pretty good rain chances headed our way, not only today, but tomorrow as well. And even this morning, seeing a little bit of rain out on the west side of the metro area. At this point, most of this is light. I'm not too concerned about it. None of this severe either, but still a few of these lightning flashes picking up just to the west of Rio Rancho. Likely seeing a little bit of that light rain in the city itself. And even here in Albuquerque, as soon as you hit the interstate and start headed west, you're going to run into some of that light to even moderate rain. A lot of cloud cover out there with the temperature of about 71 degrees. Winds are light out of the northwest, about 3 miles per hour. Got a little bit of a bird tush. Yeah. He just likes to sit on top of my camera, and all I see is his little tush feathers out there. That's all right. Storms favoring the northern and western portions of our state today. Even here in the metro area, though, we'll likely see at least a few of these spot storms near the city. Temperatures, although quickly cooling off, they'll only be here for about a day or so. We'll get right back to those warmer temperatures just in time for your 4th of July. But will we see those storms linger into the weekend? I'll have that answer in your full forecast coming up here in just about 10 minutes.
All right, Kristen, thanks. We'll begin with breaking news this morning. Turkish officials now confirm that ISIS leadership was involved in the planning of this week's deadly terror attack at the Istanbul, Turkey airport. This comes less than a few hours after officials also announced the arrest of 13 people, including 3 foreign nationals. That's according to Turkish state media, which also reports they were taken into custody as police carried out simultaneous raids at 16 locations across the city. Authorities say they're now reviewing video and interviewing witnesses to figure out what led up to Tuesday's terror attack at Istanbul's main airport, killing 42 people. Turkish investigators say the 3 suicide bombers from Russia, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan arrived together in a taxi before detonating themselves in separate locations. Turkish and U.S. officials believe ISIS, again, was to blame. They just confirmed a few moments ago that ISIS leadership was involved in planning those attacks. Documents just obtained by News 13 show some incriminating statements a man accused of killing Albuquerque police officer Daniel Webster made to police.
I don't know what the you're talking about.
That's what Devon Lyman told us in October of 2015. But in a motion filed in federal court yesterday, police say Lyman apologized to Officer Webster's family. Officers say he was not being questioned and had just given a DNA swab. When Lyman told officers, quote, "If you see that person or that cop's family, tell them I'm so sorry, please." He goes on to say, "I honestly don't remember what happened," and quote, "I hope he makes it." Police say Lyman fired 6 shots at Officer Webster during a traffic stop. The U.S. attorney is now asking the court to allow Lyman's apology as evidence in his federal case in which he's accused of being a felon with a gun. Within the next month, one of the teens charged in the murder of an Albuquerque bartender is expected to undergo a psychological evaluation to determine if he'll be sentenced as a juvenile or as an adult. Ryan Archibek is one of 6 teens accused of shooting and killing Stephen Garrick in his driveway after a night of breaking into cars last summer. Archibek took a plea deal, pleading guilty to 4 counts, including aggravated burglary with a deadly weapon and credit card theft, which gets him off the hook for murder. If sentenced as an adult, he faces up to 15 years in prison. Time now 6:34. Also breaking this morning, firefighters in Idaho are busy battling a raging fire that's destroyed at least 2 homes, and it continues to threaten several more. Video just into our newsroom overnight shows a large brush fire burning east of the Table Rock area. Roads are now blocked off in that part of the town as officials continue to battle the blaze. This has now led to mandatory evacuations in the area. At stake, several homes inside that perimeter. There's no word yet on the cause, but we'll continue to update you on this fire, bringing you the very latest throughout the morning here on KRQE News 13 and also on the KRQE News app. Investigators are continuing to sift through ash to learn exactly how the Doghead fire, which destroyed several homes here, started. In the meantime, firefighters say it's now sitting at 95% containment as you wake up. The fire in the Manzano Mountains has covered nearly 18,000 acres, and fire officials have cut personnel from 210 down to 181. Authorities say that the fire is human-caused. Happening today, people dealing with a water crisis near Farmington will have the chance to ask questions and get some answers from officials. Earlier this month, San Juan County declared a state of emergency because more than 7,000 people were left without water. According to the Farmington Daily Times, people in the area have been told to boil their water since June 3rd because of problems with the AV Water Company's aging treatment facility. The State Department of Environment and the Public Regulation Commission both say that they've launched investigations into the matter. Tonight's public hearing starts at 6 at the Farmington Civic Center. The city is now turning to technology to help promote the controversial Albuquerque rapid transit stations even before they're built. The ART design team is given a virtual reality tour of the new stations, as well as putting up 3D models with color-changing canopies. With this virtual reality, you can actually stand in what will be the Bryn Mawr station.
People will actually see themselves in the space, and I think sometimes in the past when you're looking at just an image on the screen, you don't get a real sense of what it is, and it's hard to imagine yourself there, but actually virtually being in that space changes your perspective.
And construction on that $120 million project could now begin as early as August. You can take a look for yourself by attending the ART community meetings, or just check out a link on our website this morning, krqe.com. It's up there now. Also happening now, Santa Fe police are searching for a serial groper who they say has been targeting women in the same neighborhood. Police say one woman was showering in her own home when a man reached through an open window and grabbed her. Another woman thinks the man followed her after an evening walk. They live less than a half mile from each other in a neighborhood south of the Roundhouse, the women do. Police say the man is possibly in his 30s, about 6 feet tall, with brown hair, a crew cut, and a tan. Happening today, the Department of Health says workers within the state's medical marijuana program are preparing for a move. Starting July 5th, the patient services program will start serving people out of a larger location in Santa Fe to keep up with the growing program. Authorities say the program increased by 12,000 patients last year. As of this morning, there are 25,000 active patients. The funerals for 2 Texas women shot by their own mother are scheduled to happen today. Police say 17-year-old Madison Sheets and 22-year-old Taylor Sheets were killed last Friday at their family home. Christy Sheets was then shot and killed by police as they say she was about to fire another round. And now authorities say that the elder Sheets may have killed her daughters to punish their father.
Mr. Sheets stated that Christy was suffering from depression and taking numerous prescription medications. He also told us that Christy was seeing a therapist.
And they say that she called a family meeting where the father thought she would be telling the girls she filed for a divorce, but shots rang out instead. Madison and Taylor will be buried in Alabama after today's services. A Seattle man who claims to be a compulsive thief is getting some help this morning from one of his victims. The man walked into a coffee shop and asked to use the restroom last week, but instead he went upstairs to the owner's apartment and made off with some stuff, a laptop, an iPad, a child's piggy bank. The owner then turned to Facebook with the surveillance video. Eventually, the thief and his dad came back to the store to apologize and return the stolen stuff. He won't face any charges, and he says he's happy he was caught. He's ready to deal with his issues. Meanwhile, the owner says she holds no ill will toward the man.